Oi oi, your boy is finally back with a brand new video, this time taking a look at Big and their seemingly endless playbook on the T side of Mirage. First things first, sorry for not uploading for a while. I got really caught up with the casting. I wanted to research as hard as possible for all those games, but I promise I'm back now. I will never leave you again. Secondly, I don't normally do this, but I was looking through my analytics recently and I saw that only 8% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. Now normally, I wouldn't bring this up, but this is like the lowest number I've seen out of any YouTuber. So guys, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Let's see if we can get me to 20k before Christmas, and that will make me a happy hawk for Christmas. Alright, now that we're up to speed, let's jump into Big's endless playbook on Mirage, because they have some beautiful stuff to showcase here. Almost all of these clips are going to come from Big's opening game against MIBR at Flashpoint, where they won 16-2 thanks to their dominant T-side performance. And I guess we might as well start by talking about Big's default on their T-side rounds. Normally you'll see Tizian play over towards B, Tabson and Searson play towards mid, Keto towards A ramp, and then Xantares playing over towards Palace. Although, as you're going to see throughout all these clips, this is very loose and the players have a lot of freedom in how they can switch things up, and they call a lot of set strats from spawn. This first round we're going to show is one where Big do have a plan in mind from the start of the round. Searson's AWP is the main weapon of note in this round, so Tizian goes jumping into B to begin with and sets up Searson for the trade. You're going to see throughout this video that Searson's entries are quite an important part of opening up the rounds for Big, and that's what gets them into this round as well on the B bomb site. And then whenever you're playing Mirage, it's always going to be important that your individuals play well. So when you can have Keto pulling off a round like this with the Deagle, that adds a lot to your Mirage when you have players with this sort of pop-off potential to just win you around single-handedly. I'm sure some of you are saying, alright Hawka, I know Big can frag, but what else can they do on Mirage? Well, we're getting there. At the start of this round, Tabson is able to snuff out the top mid aggression to give his team the man advantage. And even though eventually Xantares is going to get picked off at Palace here, Keto makes sure to stick around at ramp, showing some presence at A and throwing a couple of flashes over the top while his teammates prepare a B play. Something to note about Big when they move into this B site is that they love to almost always try and molly Van and Bench at a minimum to cut down on the options the CTs can be playing from and make it easier for their entry players to move onto the site. And then once we switch to Tizian's POV, you're going to see how well timed these flashes are for him. He gets a flash to move out through the apartments to begin with, and then this second flash is perfect. It lands just as this smoke fades behind Tizian so that he can get a free kill onto the site. And if we pause here, Tizian no longer has to worry about his right side anywhere near as much. He knows that Bench has been mollied, he knows that Van has been mollied previously, so he can have full focus on these angles towards the site itself, and that is a huge part as to why he's able to get both these entries onto the B site and use some of that sick aim to win Big the round. Heading into round number 8, Big show us a couple of their creative nade lineups from their plethora of nades that they seem to know on this map. Searson and Tabson are both throwing smokes from mid here, and Searson's smoke is going to land over at CT, while Tabson's smoke lands towards jungle. These two smokes combined with the normal stairs smoke make it seem like Big are just going for a standard A execute, and that's what MIBR think too. Little do they know that Searson is coming in from mid and he's about to get a free kill from behind on a player who is fully focused on the A site, thinking he needs to be ready for the players pushing from A ramp and Palace. And then once the Big players start to crunch onto the A bomb site itself, they're able to get another kill with ease and make this anti-eco look even easier than it otherwise would have been. The real beauty of this round showcases itself when you watch it from the overview, because you get to see the smokes come in, but you also get to see how both of Big's players who were positioned towards A ramp make sure to molly out both triple and sandwich and use some flashes over the top to make it seem like it really is just a standard A execute. I also wonder if Tabson's smoke that he throws towards jungle purposely has this little gap in it to bait a CT into peeking behind and then setting up this very easy kill for Searson. Either way, a player pushing behind this jungle smoke is going to be pretty screwed whatever happens. And then finally, a Molotov goes into default, Just as an MIBR player arrives there, this is the last box that really needs to be cleared on the site, and it mollies this player out of position, allows another easy kill onto the A site, and both of these A entries come from the utility usage alone, which is always lovely to see. Into the next round, Big put 3 players towards A and 2 players towards mid, with Tabson trying to make some stuff happen early at mid. Tabson ends up getting picked by KNG's AWP at mid, and then look at how quick Searson is to respond by pushing over towards A. As soon as he hears his teammate die, he's going out onto the A site, which will instantly stress the CTs out since their comms are already probably cluttered from the kill they got, and Big get 2 kills onto the A site. Looking at this from Searson's POV, you actually get to see that he is literally sitting in the smoke, pre-aiming, ready to make this play, and as soon as he hears it's the AWP of KNG that's shot, I think this is when he realizes he can run the risk of jumping through the smoke. Worst case scenario, it's a rifle on the other side and his teammate has a chance to trade, but at least he's probably not going to get picked off at long range, and he's probably going to die to a rifler on the site that can be traded out quickly, and that's what Big end up doing. This is just instant reactions. I love how quick their response is here. This is definitely one of Big's biggest benefits on this map, and to add on to that, Big are really quick to use their utility over towards jungle, over towards connector, to allow them to get the bomb planted as easily as possible. And I just love how quick Big are to respond in these rounds. They instantly go for the throat, and it feels like the CTs never have any chance to reply. Oh, and when MIBR actually get a chance and get a couple of kills on the retake, Searson can just flank all the way round to mid, and because the bomb has been planted by this triple box, he knows the exact lineup for where the diffuser is going to be. It's so much easier to line this up because of where the bomb has been planted, and it's another round on the board for Big. Adding on to the smokes shown in the last round, Big have got some B-sided smokes to show off in this round. Xantares throws this smoke which lands on the middle of the site from T-spawn, and because he throws it from T-spawn, he can join his teammates over on A ramp, and spoiler alert, these B-nades are a fake and this round is going to end on A, so that's definitely nice. Tabson jump throws this smoke to land on the right side of short, which is quite common for teams executing onto the B site, to be comboed with this smoke thrown by Keto, which is thrown all the way over from A, lands on the left side of short, and makes sure that Keto can help his teammates enter onto the A bomb site. So this is a full smoke execute fake thrown towards B, and Tizian, whose job is normally to play towards B, is the man tasked with selling the fake even further. He puts down a smoke of his own, now making this 4 smokes used towards the B site, and then just tries to pressure the B side of the map. In this round, he doesn't fully commit, although sometimes he will fully commit to dying to try to sell the fake on this site, but in this round he decides to play it safer, probably realizing he's against a low buy. But all of this does open up enough room for Keto to be able to walk out through A ramp, take some easier fights onto the A site, not having to use nades in the process. They're happy to just walk up because they think they've got the advantage, and they do. They outposition their opponents, Keto lands a couple of snappy entries, and they win the round. Probably not the best example of this specific strategy, but it's another one that Big have in their playbook, which can look great in the right circumstances. Oh, and in case you're questioning whether or not Big ever actually runs some fast B plays, in the very next round, Tizian decides to buy a Mac 10, even though he's got plenty of money for an AK, specifically so that he can be the point man on the B bomb site. Tizian gets up close early, he's able to dodge the 2 nades and beat the Molotov so that he can go in first. Big throw a bunch of flashes over the top, and Tizian is able to get the first entry as well as the second one with this Mac 10, and again, some really solid aim. A much more simple play this time from Big, but looking at VSM's perspective, the flashes are effective, and sometimes you've got to throw some plays like this in there to keep your enemies second guessing themselves. Here in round 14, we get to see a bit more of Searson's ability to crack open these rounds for Big. They put the smoke into window at the start of the round, and then they have a smoke that's slowly trickling down towards the backside of connector, but Searson peeks just before this smoke lands, and KNG on the other side is trying to get ahead of this smoke into connector to take fights. This is just a really well-timed angle and fight for Searson to take. He realizes that MIBR might want to move into connector before this smoke blooms to hold on to that control, and he gets a free kill because of it. Then, once Searson gets this pick, if we take a look at the radar, the response from MIBR is to rotate one of their B players away from the B side of the map to make sure he can cover the window position in case anyone gets boosted into play. And Big read this really well again. They start to split the B site, they start to get into position, and they are able to run over the B bomb site with another quick play. Looking at the fights themselves, the timing isn't ideal as VSM does get back to kitchen before the push comes into play, but because he's so far back and Leo is committed to the site, it's really hard for those two CTs to work together. That means that Big can isolate these duels on the B bomb site and end up taking another round win. This final round comes from a different game. It comes from Big's Mirage game against Nip, but it's one I had to include because I think it's the best example of tabseN's mid-round calling and why he puts himself in this mid position in the majority of the rounds. Big get mid control at the start of this round where Nip have the economical edge and have the better buy. And Keto puts down a smoke to window, Searson puts down a smoke to the back of connector, and tabseN starts to move up mid. tabseN then uses a Molotov into the window itself, and uses all of the other sounds going on to mask his footsteps while jumping into window and isolate this first fight against Rez. Then as he spots Nork, we're going to pause, because at this point the calculations that go on in tabseN's head are too quick to talk through in real time. So tabseN knows he's killed one man at jungle already, and now he's spotted Nork on the left side of this vent. That means that Nork has almost certainly come from CT spawn, he's almost certainly come away from the A site, and therefore at this point, there's likely only one more player on the A site itself, assuming Nip are playing a standard 2-1-2 setup, which is very likely in this round. If we take a look at the radar though, we can see that Big are already lining up what looks to be a B play. So before I unpause, I want you to look at the radar here and see just how quickly tabseN is able to communicate over to his teammates that they need to come back to A just off getting this information alone. There you go, it's in an instant. In 1 or 2 seconds, everyone from Big is coming back to A. tabseN is able to catch Hampus out. Hampus still thinks it's a B play. He's not ready as he gets caught on the rotate. And these 2 kills from tabseN alone get Big onto the A site and win them the round. That is an incredibly decisive mid-round call. It's the exact right call to make with limited information in that circumstance. And that is a great read from tabseN. There's honestly a lot more to Big's playbook I didn't get the chance to talk about in this video, but I think this just goes to show how good Big can be with their depth on the T side of Mirage, and I think when Big are playing at their best, they are probably the most fun T side Mirage team to watch. When they dominate, their different nades and their individual ability combined make them a real driving force on this map. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to watch out for Big in the future on Mirage. I think this map will become a staple of their pool as they're starting to lean a little more away from Dust 2 going into the future. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time.